Okay, here we are in video 3 of 4. It's called Phantom Opposition. I'll go quickly because there's some attached audio that takes a lot of the time. As I mentioned previously, we got our application in August 2005. Things were going pretty well until December, and that's when the opposition started coming about. And DHEC's normal requirement is to get a draft permit or denial out in 120 days, which would have been in December. So right about that time, this community alert went out. I won't read it, but you'll see that it's basically trying to concern people with what's going on. And this alert's more important. It's twofold. One, that it's got a lot of misinformation in there, saying that it's a much bigger facility than it was. It's going to have industrial waste instead of just construction, demolition, debris. But the important thing is you see the bottom right one. This is from a different county, and this to me shows more than anything else that this concerned citizens of Rock Hill was not a concerned citizen of York County. It was a competitor of ours in South Carolina that was trying to get into the market. You'll find later that Representative Norman mentions a outside group trying to come in, and that is the group. This phantom group, which I'll just call CCR, sent out those 2 mass mailers. They also would put flyers in any of the public hearings that were going on. And as of today, there still has never been anyone who's claimed to be a part of CCR. They never identified themselves to media or any officials at any place. As I mentioned just previously, I do know who was behind it now, but at the time I did not. Those mailers got the attention of Bessie Moody Lawrence and other state legislators, and obviously there was a petition that was put out requiring 2 hearings before the official public hearing. During this process, I made myself available to anyone who would hear our story. So I had a meeting with the Student Improvement Councils of South Point High School and Saluda Trail Middle School, and also participated in the 3 hearings that DHEC hosted. I was proud of that process, and you can see from this letter dated January 13th from then Chairperson Jeffrey Nicholson that they recognized that there's worse things that could go on that site, and we're articulating that the conclusion that best wishing us the best for the business. And this is a follow-up letter which you can read. Of course, the simplest thing to do is just to pause the video so you can fully read it. So a quick summary from February 2006. We had our first community meeting. I answered any questions that were asked. No one from the concerned citizen Rock Hill claimed to, no one there claimed to be a part of that group. Same story in March 2006. Answered any and all questions, and same response. No one from CCR was present. And then March 2006. Bessie Moody Lawrence did approach York County Council and ask for their opposition to Vernsdale. And then at that time, interestingly enough, Councilman Chappell states that the county does not have the legal right to get involved. In May 2006, we had the official public hearing. Christy Cox and her mother, Annie Williams, and Ernie Wilkerson, which interestingly enough used to work for Bruce Lovelace, take the public lead in opposing our facility. They become the primary opposition group. To this day, Christy Cox nor Kerwood Chappell have ever accepted my offer to visit any of our facilities, and that they have spent an extraordinary amount of time opposing our site. During this process, we made a commitment to keep the height under 100 feet, and this is a letter to Kerry Smith requesting that this be a part of our process, that if we ever want to go above 96, when we get close to 96 feet, we would have to ask for permission. And it's important to note that that would put us no higher than a mean sea level of 620 feet. This will be hard to see in this video, but this is a mean sea level map of the city of Rock Hill, and even within close proximity to our site, there are some areas that are higher than our highest level that will be. And I think that's important to note. You'll hear at some point Kerwood say that this is going to be the highest landfill between Miami and Maine. And of course, he also said we was going to take waste from Miami to Maine, which both are false. Matter of fact, according to what we have recognized, we are not the highest landfill in York County. The county-owned landfill is higher than ours if you look at the mean sea level. Now, another interesting twist: in June 2006, Christy Cox and law partner and a law partner proposed Buddy Clausen's site to DHEC as an alternative site for us. We found this through DHEC. So at the same time, Christy, her mother, Ernie Wilkerson, are frequently talking to DHEC, questioning every aspect of our proposed site. So she's representing another applicant and at the same time trying to drag our process out through extraordinary measures. And you can see this letter is proof. Keith Martins sends it on behalf or for the firm, but behind the scenes, Christy Cox is doing a lot of talking and correspondence. And you can see we got this through Freedom of Information, and you can see on this that Christy's making phone calls and they're answering questions to her. Here's some audio from Christy.
My name's Christy Cox, 1308 Glenview Lane in Rock Hill. I've been here on 2 occasions. Miss Bessie Moody Lawrence has been here on 1 occasion back in March of this year. And we both have requested that council take a look at the solid waste plan and that they do something to help the situation, specifically with respect to Vernsdale. I submit to you that the adoption of the solid waste plan is a very big deal. And it's a big deal to me because it affects the place I grew up with, which is on Rainbow Road. There is a proposed facility there, Vernsdale, that's planned to be located in an area that is not appropriate. This is your opportunity, and I think it's your obligation to right a wrong that's been done. What we're being told now from the city is that because we did not appeal that decision, it stands. We need a C&D facility. The reason we can't get one is because Vernsdale is holding it up. DHEC will not even consider a new place until the decision is made, but they're too scared to issue a decision. For what reason, I'm not sure. DHEC clearly has come forward to say, I've spoken with John McCain as well as Art Braswell at DHEC, who specifically say that any amendments to the plan before a facility is permitted has to comply with the solid waste plan. So Vernsdale is specifically included in that. Vernsdale has not been permitted yet by DHEC. So any amendment to the plan, the Vernsdale plan, would have to be consistent with that. The county carries a lot of weight, and if the county comes out and says, no, that is not consistent with what we're doing, DHEC is going to give that a lot of deference. And that's what I'm requesting that you do. The fact is that although the council although the county manager has come out and said that we don't think that that the facility can be supported by the roads, they haven't used the magic words. We don't think it's consistent with our solid waste plan because. That's what I'm asking that you do. And I'll be willing to accept any questions.
You have any questions, Ms. Cox?
No, but I,
Mr. Jeff?
Ms. Cox, did you saw me or who did you saw?
No, Mr. Jeff, go ahead.
I would like for this staff and attorney to make sure she's notified of everything, this council. This will be the last meeting we'll have, but the new council coming on, I beg the new members, if any of them out there, and the old members, to let's keep Ms. Cox informed of what maneuver we take. There's a lot of more discussion to be made. Some of it may come as a surprise to you, but it's a better. We need to do our duties to the citizens of York County. That's my theme song. And to inform her police is every move we make before we make that move, so she can be present at anything, public hearing or workshop or whatever it may be. Thank you.
Thank you. The only other thing I would like to add is that other legitimate individuals who have property that can support this plan, who have property that's already permitted for purposes of a landfill, cannot get in here, cannot get a place, even though there are better places for this to be, because DHEC has not made a decision yet on the Vernsdale matter, and that's just the way it is. Basically, for 2.5, 3 years, Griffin Brothers has been allowed to hold on to the ability to get this landfill, and to the exclusion of others who may be better suited for it. The bottom line is that the county has the authority to prepare the solid waste plan and to enact ordinances to deal with waste disposal. You have two things available to you to do. You can pass a plan and you can enact an ordinance. 18 days, and Mr. McCowan and Mike Kendry can advise you that there are things that you can do to pass an ordinance to basically say, you know what, North Carolina, you passed a year-long moratorium, we're going to pass one long enough for us to look at this issue and come up with a good plan that protects everybody. One thing I want to point out too, if we do have a need, we have got several LCDs that we can't even go to and ask them if they want to expand. They've already got one. Why aren't we doing that? Because it's not in our plan.
There's several things to me that were extraordinary in that audio. Number one, Councilman Chappell was in December 2006 was alluding that in the new council coming aboard, things are going to start to happen, and it was imploring that the staff make sure that Ms. Cox knows everything as soon as possible. And then also Ms. Cox during all that audio never never disclosed that she's representing a competing landfill that can only be permitted if we fail. And she's spending extraordinary efforts trying to make sure that we fail through all kinds of technicalities with working with DHEC. And she always said something about it, didn't know why it's taken 2.5 years for us to get our permit, and she was one of the instrumental ones behind the scenes creating the delays. So a lot of irony with that audio. And I didn't mention it, but this is a good article to read. And one thing that was highlighted is that Mr. Clausen said that Christie was representing him in his efforts to get a C&D landfill. Another interesting fact is that this email was forwarded to me from the Herald, and Ernie Wilkerson, who used to work for Bruce Lovelace, sent a scathing email saying that the Herald is too much representing our interest, and I think they were just representing the facts that were given to them. But the bottom line is that it's very interesting to me that they copied Bruce Lovelace he copied Bruce Lovelace on this email along with his partner Wayne Beam and Christy Cox. So it's very interesting, the little collusion there with the landfill operators and Christy and Ernie. Another interesting twist to this long soap opera process is that, and I'll use my mouse to show this. This trailer was put in the very last seconds and put in a rush adjacent to the property that is our proposed landfill site, which is this land here. And this is another picture of it, and this is the land that was going to be the proposed, that's going to be the Vernsdale site. The person behind this is Alex Hafley, who dates Christy Cox's mother, Annie Williams. And this is proof that perhaps it was hidden, or just it happened to be a company that he had, but he's the owner of that company that put that trailer in. And they put it in February of 2007, right? And it was I guess got the CO just after we got our permit. If he'd have got it before a permit, it would have had a significant effect on the airspace at our landfill. And that's the end of 3 of 4.